Erectus or Adamites when the earth was traveling in the arc of Wayne, 72,000 years BK, or before Cosmon. And I explained earlier, Cosmon began in the year 1848 AD, present time. So 72,000 years going backward is when these things took place. It predates all known history, Egypt history, Sumerian history. It's revealing these histories that we know not of. Now we're going to see how many angels came to the heavens of the earth in that day, 72,000 years BK, before Cosmon. Now in the book of Sentences, Son of Jehovah, chapter 1, verse 9, it states, "Meanwhile, I had the angels of Horeb numbered, and there were of them 27,600,000, and these were the same who were on an excursion in my charge when the voice of Jehovah commanded us to visit the earth." So here it reveals the number of angels that came to the heavens of the earth being 27,600,000 angels that congregated in the heavens of the earth at the time of the Homo-ERECTUS, or Adamites. Now when did the angels come to the earth, to the Adamites, or Homo-ERECTUS? In the book of the Synopsis of 16 Cycles, chapter 1, verse 5 through 9, it states, "At the time of the creation of man, the earth was traveling in the arc of Wayne, where dwelt thousands of Orion chiefs with thousands of millions of high-raised angels." Verse 6. "The holy council of Orion chiefs, through the wisdom and voice of Jehovah, appointed one of their number, Sentences, to take charge of the earth, and to people it with immortal beings during its travel in Wayne." Verse 7. "The rank and title of Sentences, thus raised up by Jehovah, creator of worlds, was first God of the earth and her heaven." Verse 8. "And Sentences came with millions of angels who had been raised up from other worlds previously, and he accomplished his work and was known as God." Verse 9. "Sentences was then the first God of the earth and her heavens, and his place was within the ark of Wayne, and during his cycle of 3,000 years, he raised up from the earth 1,500 million brides and bridegrooms to Jehovah." Now, in verse 5 it states, "After the creation of the Homo-ERECTUS, or the Adamites, when the earth was traveling in the ark of Wayne, the angels of heaven descended down to the heavens of the earth with millions of high-raised angels." And in verse 6 it states, "It was the Orion chiefs, or Etherian gods, who chose Sentences to come to the heavens of the earth, commanded by Jehovah." And in verse 7 it states that the god Sentences was the first god to rule the heavens of the earth. And in verse 8 it states, "He came with millions of angels who were born on other worlds." And in verse 9 it states, "Sentences came when the earth crossed the arc of Wayne, and at that point did the angels appear in the heavens of the earth, and Sentences was the first God to rule the heavens of the earth for the first arc cycle, or first 3,000 years after the creation of Adam." So during his reign of 3,000 years, his harvest of brides and bridegrooms was 1,500 million earthborn spirits, and the term brides and bridegroom mean earthborn spirits that are ready to enter into Etheria, outside the boundaries of the earth and its heavens. So the first God to rule during the time of the Homo-ERECTUS, or Adamites, was a god named Sentences, and he came with the host of 27,600,000 angels. and he came when the earth crossed the arc of Wayne. And Adam was created 2 arc cycles before the earth crossed the arc of Wayne, which is the 6,000-year period before the angels came. Now we're going to go into when the angels appeared on the earth. Now, in the book of Jehovah, chapter 6, verse 12 through 16, it states, I looked over the wide heavens that I made, and I saw countless millions of spirits of the dead that had lived and died on other corporeal worlds before the earth was made. Verse 13, I spoke in the firmament, and my voice reached to the utmost places. And there came in answer to the sounds of my voice myriads of angels from the roadway in heaven where the earth travels. And I said to them, Behold, a new world I have created. Come ye and enjoy it. Ye shall learn from it how it was with other worlds in ages past. Verse 14. There alighted upon the new earth millions of angels from heaven, but many of them had never fulfilled a corporeal life, having died in infancy. And these angels comprehended not procreation nor corporeal life. Verse 15. And I said, Go and deliver Adam from darkness, for he shall also rise in spirit to inherit my Etherian worlds. Verse 16. And now was the earth in the later days of Semu, and the angels could readily take on corporeal bodies for themselves. Out of the elements of the earth clothed they themselves by force of their own wills with flesh and bones. By the side of the Adamites took they on corporeal form. So here it states, Jehovah called the angels of heaven to come to the earth, and these angels were older than the earth, as it states, I saw countless millions of spirits of the dead that had lived and died on other corporeal worlds before the earth was made. And there were millions of angels that came, and they came to deliver Adam from darkness, showing that the Adamites, or HOMO-ERECTUS, was in a state of darkness, ignorance, unconscious of who they were, living as beasts of the field, as it stated. So the duty of the angels was to come help lift man up from out of this dark state. Now, in the first book of the first Lords, chapter 1, verse 2, it states, And the Lord brought the angels of heaven to man. By his side took they on forms like unto man, having all the organs and attributes of mortals. For it was the time of the earth for such things to be. So here is a verse where it states that the angels from the heavens came to the Adamites. And this is during the time of the Homo erectus, before modern man or Homo sapien. This took place 72,000 years before Cosmon. And once you understand the timetables of prophecy and how the arc cycle work, you could get these years precisely based off the arc cycles of 3,000-year periods. So now, in the book of Inspiration, chapter 6, verse 22 and 23, it states, And I sent angels to man to teach him who he was and to rouse him up to his capabilities for which I created him. Verse 23, And my angels drew from man's side substance, and thus took on corporeal forms. And the angels dwelt with man as helpmates, to make man understand. So in this verse, the angels came to the Adamites to teach them, and they came as helpmates to the Adamites. So here you have it, the Adamites, or the Homo erectus, earthborn created beings, and then you have these angels who came from elsewhere to help rise up these Adamites, or Homo erectus, to a conscious state. So on the face of the planet, 72,000 years BK, this is the event what took place. You have the Adamites and these angels, and these are the